What's going on, guys? My name is Matt and I get a fair amount of questions about what system I use on a daily basis and what parts I have in it. I recently decided to make some updates to my personal rig, so I thought I'd go ahead and update you guys on what parts I'm rocking and give you the rationale behind each part. While this isn't the most powerful system in the world, it's a dream come true to be able to have a system like this, and a big reason why I am able to build this PC is because of you guys who watch the videos and support the channel. Some of these parts are from channel sponsors, but I only use what I consider to be very high quality parts, and each of these are some of my favorite in each category. So let's go ahead and get into what components make up the system, starting with the CPU. The CPU I'm using is the Ryzen 7 2700. This processor is an absolute amazing value for the money. I originally was going to get a 3700X, but had this guy from the sleeper build and figured it wouldn't be worth the 15 to 20% increase in performance and the over $300 to get the 3700X. The 2700 goes for around $160 nowadays, and for that price you're getting a seriously powerful CPU. This is an 8-core 16-thread beast running on the Zen Plus architecture. While it has a relatively modest base and boost frequency, I have this set to an all-core overclock of 4.1 GHz. Even though I am using a water cooler for this, I have been able to get the CPU up to 4 GHz with the stock cooler, which is pretty impressive. The CPU is truly a jack of all trades. Video editing, gaming, and general productivity tasks all run with ease. I may eventually upgrade to a 12 or 16 core Ryzen CPU in the future, but for now this works absolutely great. To cool this CPU, I'm using a Corsair H100i RGB Platinum, but I'm actually not using the stock fans on it. I'm using Corsair's new QL120 RGB fans, which I'll talk about more later in the video. While water cooling isn't the most practical or the best value for the money, ever since I got into PC hardware, I always wanted to own a Corsair H100i just because the concept of cooling a PC with water was mind-blowing to me at the time. This is the updated version of that cooler I wanted many years ago, and it looks and performs better than ever. This is a 240mm AIO liquid cooler. It does come included with 2 RGB fans normally, but again, these aren't the ones that are usually included. It has an RGB block, nice braided tubing, and it's super simple to install because it uses the stock AMD mounting clips. I really love this cooler and can highly recommend it if you're willing to fork over the money for it. In terms of the motherboard, this may be confusing to some of you, but I'm actually using a relatively budget-oriented B450 motherboard. I'm using the ASRock B450M Pro 4, which actually is my favorite AM4 board of all time. For $80 normally, and I've seen it as low as $60, you get an incredible feature set. It has plenty of PCIe slots for expansion, dual M.2 slots, which is something you don't even see that often on mid-range boards. It has 4 DIMM slots, and the VRM setup is actually pretty decent. Now yes, on the surface the VRM setup is relatively basic, being a doubled up 3-phase VRM, but it does have heat sinks and is still very effective for up to 8-core CPUs. I wouldn't recommend putting a 12 or 16 core Ryzen CPU in here, but for the Ryzen 7 2700 this board works more than okay. In terms of RAM, I finally upgraded to 32GB of RAM. Now that I'm exclusively recording and editing in 4K, 16GB was beginning to slow down my workflow, and DDR4 prices are so good right now that I decided the jump to 32GB would be worth it. What I went with is this 2x16GB kit of this XPG GAMX RAM running at 3000 MHz CL16. I was able to get this up to 3200 MHz, which is great, and it seems to pair really well with this setup. Also, because this is only a 2-stick kit, it means I could pop in another 32GB later down the line for a total of 64GB, but I don't see needing that for a relatively long time. For storage, I'm using a few different SSDs, plus I have my mass storage externally. My OS is on a 500GB OCZ VX500, which I've been using for over 3 years now. I use a Samsung 500GB 960 Pro NVMe SSD as a scratch disk for my current projects and video files, and I have a 1TB ADATA SU800 that I record gameplay to and use as a spillover drive for files I'm not quite ready to offload to external storage. For my GPU, I'm using an NVIDIA RTX 2060 non-super. This is the Founders Edition, and for the types of games I play and for graphics acceleration and video editing, this card works like a charm. I usually play less demanding titles, but I was even running Borderlands 3 at ultra-wide 1440p, medium settings at well over 60 FPS, which was a great experience. I know a lot of people don't like the way these Founders Edition cards look, but for me, I think this is probably my favorite cooler design, especially this 2060 because the PCIe power connects to the end, giving it a very clean side profile look. Powering the system is an EVGA Supernova 650G+. This is a 650 watt 80 plus gold power supply with fully modular all black cables. 650 watts is way more than enough for this build and gives me enough room to upgrade to a more powerful CPU or GPU later down the line. It's super quiet, very reliable, and overall works great for my PC. Finally, let's talk about the case and the fans that I'm using. When I was first getting into PC hardware, the H100i wasn't the only Corsair product I dreamed of owning. Back then, I thought the Corsair Air 240 was the coolest case ever. Its dual chamber design and looks really appealed to me at the time and still does to this day. Because of this, I decided to go with the spiritual successor to the Air 240, which is the Corsair 280X. This is a beautiful dual chamber system with 3 tempered glass panels and a ton of features. It fits up to 2 3.5 inch drives, 3 2.5 inch drives, and I'm sure could fit more 2.5 inch SSDs if you got creative. There's a ton of room in the back, so if you're lazy like me, you can just push everything together back there without much thought. Please believe me, it started out cable managed very well, but because of some problems I was having because of the RGB controller, which was my fault, I had to do a lot of moving of cables around, which messed up cable management a lot. In terms of the fans I use in this build, these are Corsair's new QL120 RGB fans. These are pretty awesome in my opinion. You can get them in a 3-pack with a lighting node core RGB hub or in single packs. They don't perform quite as well as Corsair's other RGB fans, but they still perform pretty good. They each have 34 addressable RGB LEDs, and I think the coolest thing is the fact you can see the lighting from the side, which is something you don't normally get. This means you're able to see the lighting on these 2 radiator fans even when they are at or below your line of sight. You do need to use Corsair's IQ software to control these, which IQ is honestly not a very well optimized program. There are a lot of different effects you can do, and because there are so many LEDs on each fan, the colors are super vibrant. I mean, between these 4 fans, there are 136 LEDs in total, which is kind of crazy. With everything together, this system is seriously a dream come true. I'm super happy with how it turned out, and am very happy with how it performs. So I think it's time to wrap this video up. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more PC and tech related content in the future. And as always, this is Matt from Tech by Matt, signing out.